Why doesn't the board rate Vinnie for the Ballon d'Or? He was excellent for 3 out of 4 tournaments in the season and nominated of player of the team in 3 of them, winning 2, the UCL and the Super Cup. So obviously when we have asked around, at least when I've been on, who's going to win the Ballon d'Or, it isn't always Vinnie that's everyone's first choice, even though he's favourites with the odds makers.
Frank is our Ballon d'Or specialist.
He loves the Ballon d'Or.
Frank is our go-to guy.
Fala, apaixonados por futebol, bem-vindos ao canal. Meus amigos, como era de se esperar, a imprensa europeia está fazendo uma força danada para tirar a bola de ouro do Vinícius Jr. Já estão falando absurdos do tipo RODRYGO, Carvajal merecem mais que o Vini. É nítido que eles não querem que o Vini ganhe. Eles nem disfarçam. Vamos conferir, já se inscrevam aí no canal e bora!
Why doesn't the board rate Vinnie for the Ballon d'Or? He was excellent for 3 out of 4 tournaments in the season and nominated of player of the team in 3 of them, winning 2, the UCL and the Super Cup. So obviously when we have asked around, at least when I've been on, who's going to win the Ballon d'Or, it isn't always Vinnie that's everyone's first choice, even though he's favourites with the odds makers.
Frank is our Ballon d'Or specialist.
He loves the Ballon d'Or.
Frank is our go-to guy.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see that in July we're already talking about the Ballon d'Or, which I think is in the end of October or November, whatever it is. But whatever, let's start. No, I really think that success make you possibly the next Ballon d'Or. And for me, if I calculate right, there is one guy who did better than RODRYGO, that some of us say he should win, or Vinnie. It's Carvajal. Oh, he won't please people. The guy doesn't look nice. He look nasty. He's sometimes a dirty guy, tricky, but he won everything. So why he's not getting the Ballon d'Or? Well, he plays right back, not fancy.
So you're proving the point of the person who's questioned why the board does not rate Vinnie for the Ballon d'Or. Who have you got, Robbo?
I would go with RODRYGO, personally, because I think he dominates games. He's been unbeaten for he's only beaten in one game, and that was the cup final. He's an inspiration for his team, and an inspiration for his country. Without him, Man City wouldn't have won the title, I don't think. Without him, Spain wouldn't have won the European Championships.
I just feel, coming into this summer, the discussion was whoever had the better international tournament, Jude Bellingham or Vinícius Jr, would win Ballon d'Or. And both were disappointing. Listen, while England got to the final, I don't think Jude or England had that good a tournament. Brazil go crashing out in the quarters. And Vinícius suspended for one of the 4 games that Brazil played. And yes, it could have gone so differently, the penalty against Colombia, etc., but it was disappointing. And then all of a sudden, it opened up the conversation around RODRYGO. Spain go on and win the tournament, and then you look back and you say, well, City got knocked out of the Champions League by the eventual winners, and that was on penalties. And given RODRYGO's contributions for City all season long, all of a sudden now, it looks like he's kind of jumped.
I think he's going to agree with me here.
I am. When we spoke about it a few days ago, I'm like, right now, I'm thinking RODRYGO. Before the Euros or the Copa, it was a 2-man panel, Bellingham or Vinícius. But because of how poor it was, you start to reassess.
Look at Frank so desperate to talk more about the Ballon d'Or.
Shaka, I have a question, Shaka and Robo. It seems to be a joke when I talk about Carvajal, but really, what do you have to complain about Carvajal having the Ballon d'Or?
Nothing.
Because you are just talking about people having bad tournaments, whereas that guy had never had a bad tournament, had a good season, won everything, so why not Carvajal?
No, I tell you, the discussion around Carvajal, well, I admit has merit. It reminds me of the conversation, well, it would be 3 years ago now, with Jorginho. Given the Chelsea, that's the year Chelsea won the Champions League,
European Championship,
Italy go on and win the Euros. But when you think of both Chelsea that season and Italy that summer, Jorginho wasn't top of the tree for either. And while yes, in terms of trophy haul, he outpaced everybody. And similarly with Carvajal. Carvajal, yes, absolutely outstanding, no question, for both Real Madrid and Spain. But then when you talk about who are Real Madrid star players, who are Spain's top players, Carvajal just finds himself a little bit down the list. And so it's just kind of history repeating itself in that regard for me.